So welcome to Reset and Restore. We are going to start reclined on the floor this evening to do some very, very gentle relaxing of the body and opening in a relaxed way of the body. So take your time, come on down to the floor in a reclined posture on your back. And if it feels good, do a little rocking back and forth, hugging of the knees. Make sure if you're pulling your knees in towards your chest that you're keeping your sacrum down, your tailbone down, not letting your backside lift way up. And then sometime soon, just bring your feet down, settle in. Let the toes point forward or a little bit in at about hips width apart. The heels can kick out just a bit. And you can rest your knees on each other if that feels comfortable. And just play with the legs. There's sort of a sweet spot where your muscles will relax the most. If your heels are too close in, you'll stay engaged in a certain way. If the heels are too far out, again, you'll stay engaged in a certain way. So see if you can find that space where you feel like you can release the most effort in the lower half of the body. I find that it's about where the knees are 90 degrees, maybe slightly less. It's also very helpful to make sure that your feet are fully planted. Sometimes there's a tendency to be more on the heels, but lift and spread your toes and really plant the whole ball of each foot down. And then just bring your hands to your body in some way. You can rest palms down on the low belly, sort of on the hip bones. You can go a little higher, more at the solar plexus or even up at the chest. It's best if the elbows can stay on the ground in some way. Know that you can also put the hands in two different locations, but just use a moment here as I'm doing. You see I'm sort of shifting around. I'm sort of letting myself settle in a bit, rolling the head side to side. Use a bit of movement and time here to just make some adjustments, to feel as supported as possible, as effortless as possible in the body right now. And we're only going to be here for a few moments. Use the time to feel the support underneath of you, and to use exhalations to let go of what is likely habitual gripping, tensing, clenching in the body. Take a breath in through the nose and a couple of rounds where you're exhaling as if through a straw. And when you're doing those straw exhalations, really let the abdominal wall pull in toward the spine to really press the breath out. But here again, do this deliberately, but with as little effort as possible. And then let go of that breathing technique if you haven't already. And just let your mind rest on your breath. Let your body rest on the earth. And let your mind rest on the breath. Let your body rest on the earth. Let your mind rest on the breath. Good. So sometime soon, gently, bring the heels in a bit so that you can press into the left foot and hug the right knee in toward the chest. Be gentle and remember to keep your sacrum down and keep your tailbone pointed straight away from the crown of the head. Try to avoid letting the right hip pop up so the tailbone sort of point to the far right corner of your yoga mat if you're on one, or the room. And then very gently bring the hands down and just sort of make some circles on the ceiling with that right knee. You're just rotating the femur bone, the upper leg bone in the hip socket. Go slow and really feel it. Be mindful. And then just go the other way. This way will likely feel more awkward. Take your time. And then sometime soon, let the right leg come down to the right. So the knee is bent, but the leg just opens to the right. And you can play with the positioning of your feet here. I like to move my left foot so that it becomes a bit of a wall or a border or a barrier for the right foot. And I like to do it so that the arch of my right foot is sort of nestled in to the inside of my left heel. Don't overthink this, feel rather than try to manage this. Just feel how you can adjust your legs to support each other. Now, this may feel like a big stretch, or it may not feel like much of a stretch at all. Either way, I want to encourage you to use your exhalations to just soften into the shape, to release from the inside. And when I say release, I want to make sure that you think of that as an undoing, not an action of, oh, I have to exert effort to release. And I used air quotes there, but rather undoing the holding, tensing, gripping in the right hip. All right, good. Exhalations are really great for that, just softening in. Nice job. Okay, next thing here is we're just gonna let the left leg very gently also come over to the right and stack or something slightly stacked. Think about the left hip coming up so that it's over the right hip. And then just make some giant circles with the left arm and think of it like a backstroke. So your left hand is reaching down toward the knees, then over toward the right hand, and then up overhead, and then back over to the left. And as you do this, the chest, or think of even the shoulder girdle, is moving from stacked vertically to open horizontally to stacked vertically. And then after a couple of big back strokes, just let the left arm rest back on the earth. And a few more breaths here to just soften into this twist. And I just want to emphasize that this may not feel like the most sensation that you can get out of a twist, and that's okay. In fact, I hope that it feels subtle, because we don't need to push ourselves to the very edge to get a lot out of what we're doing. And B, sometimes only going a percentage of the way to our edge, to our fullest stretch, really just helps the body trust us enough to release even more. All right. Take your time here. Bring the left knee up first, and then the right knee. And just do a little side to side, sort of swishing or windshield wipering to straighten yourself out a bit if necessary. And then press into the right foot to bring the left knee in toward the chest and just hug it in. And just like on the other side, really make an effort to keep the tailbone straight down so that it's not sort of shooting off to the left. And then, of course, keep the sacrum mostly down. Try to avoid lifting the pelvis up off the floor or the mat. Okay, good work. Sometime soon, some big circles with that left knee. Just use the right leg to be a stabilizer. The arms can come out to the sides to try to stabilize, and really just let the movement as much as possible be in the hip. Smooth and steady. And sometime soon, just reverse direction. Remembering that the second direction is likely a little awkward. It's okay, just stay with it. Just let it be as smooth as possible. All right, nice work. Sometime soon, let the left leg drop off to the left. Again, the knee is bent, and you can adjust the way the feet are working together in a way that's comfortable and supportive for you. And just let yourself settle in, and to the best of your ability, just let that left leg get heavier and heavier. Remember, that's an undoing, a softening, a releasing, not an exertion of effort, not a pressing down, not any sort of deliberate action to let go, as much as accepting the support of the earth and resting in this shape, softening, even melting into the shape. Now, I didn't say this on the other side, but just like when we were doing the hugging of the knee in, try to let the pelvis be as neutral on the ground as possible. Keeping the tailbone pointed straight down, keeping the hips as level as possible. There might be some lift here in the right hip just because of the weight of the left leg, but try to avoid overly going there until now, which is when I want to encourage you to drop the right knee over to the left knee into a super gentle twist. And then start doing those big circles, that backstroke sort of motion with the right arm reaching down toward the feet, towards the knees, over to the left hand, and up and over. And so here again, your shoulder girdle and your chest is sort of shifting from being vertical to opening horizontally. Feels really good. And sometimes soon, open up into the twist and just stay there for a few breaths. And especially if this feels subtle, this doesn't feel like an enormous stretch, let it be enough. So nice. Take care as you bring the right knee up first and then the left knee. And a couple more sort of windshield wipering motions back and forth to center up. And then let's just do one last thing here, which is to bring the feet together and to let both legs open. Now this may feel like a lot more, and also your feet may slide a little. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I would so much rather you soften and release effort in the hips than try to keep the feet in close. If they slide down away from you a bit, fine. Away from the pelvis, no big deal. Just let the bottoms of the feet sort of hold each other. Let the knees open. Bring your mind back to your breath, resting the mind on the flow of your breath, and use exhalations here to continually relax and release the body. So good. Stay here another moment. As you relax, you might really feel the feet slide further away. Okay. In fact, sometime soon when you're ready to release this, just gently straighten one leg at a time. Go super slow. Super slow. And then instead of windshield wipering the knees, do it with the feet. You might do it a little faster here. And just let the feet go back and forth, and you start to feel the pelvis go back and forth a bit because they're attached. You might feel the low back sort of going back and forth a bit. Nice job. Release that effort. Bring your hands back to your body. If it's better for you to bend the knees and bring the feet down to the floor here, fine. If you want to keep the legs extended, that's fine too. We're just going to do a really brief breathing exercise here. It's called the 3-part breath. And really, it's mostly in your imagination that as you breathe in, you're filling your lungs from the bottom up. So you can think about the abdomen rising, the sort of the rib cage expanding out, and then the chest expanding up. And then as you exhale, you're reversing that. You're emptying from the top down. So you just feel the chest release down, the ribs come back in towards center, and then you can pull the belly in just a bit gently to really empty. So take your time here, inhaling and filling from the bottom up. Just think of it as belly, ribs, and chest. And exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. And just as you keep going here, take care not to overemphasize the belly. You can soften it and let it fill, let it expand, but please don't on your inhalation push the belly out. There's no need. And as I mentioned, mostly this breathing technique is about your imagination. Think of it as filling a pitcher with water, fills up, and then pouring the water, let's say, out of the pitcher from the top down. Take just a few more rounds of breath here. So good. So you may let go now of the sort of 3-part visualization in your imagination, but see if you can continue breathing in this way while you set up for the meditation, the Yoga Nidra. And as a friendly reminder, you want to support your knees with something rolled up, a yoga mat, a towel, a blanket, a pillow folded sort of long ways. You want to support your neck if possible. Something small rolled up here is really nice, like a hand towel or just the edge of a blanket, keeping the rest of the blanket sort of flat and under your head. You want to make sure that you're comfortable in terms of your clothing and warm in terms of, I think, especially your feet. That might just be me. If a blanket covering you is comfortable, make that happen. And final recommendation is to cover the eyes. Just take another moment to settle in. And then we're gonna do just a little bit of progressive relaxation to get even more comfortable. Start with when you're ready, with the right leg. And as you inhale, just tense up the whole right leg and foot. So your toes might pull back or you might curl them in. Feel your calf muscle engage, the quad, the hamstring. You might even lift your leg a bit off, squeeze the glute and the outer hip. And then as you exhale, release that and release the leg back to the ground if you've lifted it, and really let it roll open to the right. And do that once or twice more. Inhale and squeeze just the right leg, and exhale and release, letting that right leg roll open. One more time. And then go to the left side, left leg, feet, toes, calf muscle, quad, hamstring, glute, outer hip. Squeeze as you inhale, release and roll open as you exhale. One more time. Nice job. Go for the right arm now. Hand, forearm, upper arm, shoulder, squeeze it all in as you inhale and release it as you exhale. Again, inhale and just squeeze in. You might even bend the elbow and curl the arm in, and then exhale, release. Or another way to do it is to roll the palm so that it faces down and just tighten and tense. And then as you exhale, release and let that arm roll back open. Left side now, left arm, squeeze in, shoulder, whole thing, and release. And now do the face and neck and shoulder girdle too as you inhale. Scrunch everything up, tighten, squeeze, tense. And as you exhale, release. Again, inhale. Squeeze, tighten, tense. And release. Okay, one more thing here, whole body. As you inhale, just squeeze and tense and tighten every single thing, belly, whole 9 yards. Exhale, let it all go. And just do that one more time. Good. So let yourself be still. And you can make an adjustment or two in a moment, but just drop right into stillness right where you are. And just feel supported by the surface underneath of you, which, as I always say, is ultimately the earth. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be supported. And then just become aware in this moment of your senses. Notice the taste in your mouth, the sounds around you, smells, any images or colors behind your eyelids, and the touch of the clothes you're wearing, the blankets, the props you're using on your skin. And then even more subtle, the touch of air on your bare skin. Just really experience your senses alive and open. And just make any last adjustments here so that you feel extremely comfortable and completely supported. Let the sound of my voice become the sound of your inner voice. So we move awareness around the body. Notice each part of the body as it is in this moment, recognizing that the practice is simply about becoming more and more aware of what's present for you in this moment. Start with the mouth, the sensations of the whole mouth, and feel the lips and teeth and the gums. Be aware of the inside walls of the mouth, the inner cheeks, the roof of the mouth, and the tongue. Feel the hinges of the jaw and the ears now. Feel the outsides of the ears and the insides of the ears. Feel for just a moment the sensation of your ears receiving sound. Notice the eyes as a whole. And then feel specifically the eyelids, the surfaces of the eyes, the backs of the eyes. Become aware of the nose now. Feel the tip of the nose and the nostrils. And feel the skin of the whole face. And now feel the whole head. Let your awareness travel down the neck. Feel the back of the neck and the sides of the neck and the throat. Notice the shoulder girdle now. Feel the shoulder blades, the collarbones. Feel the armpits. And feel down the upper arms to the elbows. And feel down the forearms to the wrists. Feel the backs of the hands, the thumbs, the fingers, and the palms of the hands. Allow your awareness to expand to take in both hands and both arms simultaneously. Become aware of the upper back now and the chest. Feel the rib cage expanding out of the spine and the back and wrapping around to the front. Become aware of the belly and the sides of the waist and the low back. Feel the pelvis as a whole. And notice the sacrum, the broad bone across the low back, the hip bones, they wrap around Feel the pubic bone and the genitals. Notice the legs inserting into the torso. Feel the femur bones and the hip sockets. Feel down the upper half of the legs to the knees. Feel down the lower half of the legs to the ankles. Feel the tops of the feet, the toes, and the soles of the feet. Feel both feet and both legs at the same time now. Feel both feet and both legs, as well as both hands and both arms simultaneously. Feel the head and the torso and all the limbs, whole body. Just experience for a moment the whole body as a field of sensation. And as you're noticing, just be aware of all that's in your awareness. Sense what's present. And acknowledge yourself as the field of awareness in which all of the sensations and whatever else is present in your experience arises. Whole body. Whole body. And let your mind really settle on the breath. Let your awareness tune in to the body breathing and the sensation of each inhalation and exhalation, expanding and softening the whole body. Whole body breathing. Begin counting each breath silently backward from 7 like this. Breathing in 7, breathing out 7, or simply in and out 6, breathing in and breathing out. If you get to 1, start again at 7. If you find you forget what number you're on, no big deal, start again at 7. Just let your awareness rest. In the breath. Let go of counting now. Just be aware of the field of sensation throughout the body. Feel the sensation in the mouth and face, the scalp and neck, throat. Feel the shoulders and arms and hands, and torso and pelvis, and legs and feet. The body a field of radiant sensation. Just be aware of all that's present. Sense what's present for you and then experience yourself being that field of awareness in which everything is arising. Good. So shift your awareness now to a thought or a belief that you sometimes fall into or that you hold to be true about yourself. There's no right or wrong, and there's no need to scrutinize here. Just allow whatever comes up to be what you work with. Trust that whatever comes up in this moment is intentional, is purposeful. And to really let that thought or belief come into your experience in this moment. And notice how it feels in the body. Please know that if nothing comes up for you in this moment, if no thought or belief sort of arises within you, there's no need to make anything happen. Just be aware of what's present. But if there is a thought or a belief, really welcome it, invite it in fully so that you can begin to observe how it feels in the body. And just sense how this thought or belief affects the entire body. Notice any images or emotions or thoughts that also arise. It's really allowing yourself to be aware of what's present when you experience a thought or belief about yourself. Really feel it, really experience it. Now, let yourself invite in an opposite thought or belief. Again, don't scrutinize here. Maybe on paper, whatever comes up doesn't necessarily look like an opposite, but whatever arises, if something arises, welcome it in. Give yourself a moment to witness that experience. What does that thought or belief feel like in the body? Once more, just notice what else arises: images, emotions, other thoughts, other beliefs. And just really sense what's present here in your experience. And then experience yourself as that field of awareness in which all of this is playing out, is arising, is able to be sensed. Allow yourself now to call in an experience of well-being. Whatever that might look like for you: pleasure, happiness, joy, health, calm, peace, a combination of all of these things. It can be helpful to recall an event, an experience of well-being, or even imagining what well-being might be. Just really welcome it and observe the experience of that in your body. And start to visualize the body smiling at this experience of well-being. Feeling the belly smiling, feeling the low back smiling, feeling the upper back smiling, and the heart smiling. Feeling a smile in the inner mouth, and the eyes. Whole body smiling with well-being. The experience of being well radiating out. And just really allow yourself to experience the pure awareness that you are, really observing from that pure awareness everything arising and just welcoming it. And as you rest your awareness, this experience of well-being, allow yourself to receive the following intentions as I repeat them. Let your whole body listen and absorb to what listen to and absorb what I say. I let go of that which I cannot control. I am light, unburdened, and free. I am completely relaxed and at peace in my body, my mind, my heart, and my soul. Feel these intentions being recognized and honored at all levels of your being. Trust that there's nothing for you to do to make them happen. And then just very softly and gently begin to deepen the breath. And perhaps bring some super gentle, slow movements to the fingers and toes. Maybe start to move the head a bit from side to side. Please don't rush. As we come to the end of our time together for this reset and restore, please know there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. I'll offer, as always, a meditation of loving kindness. You can stay reclined. You can begin to roll to one side of your body. And if you choose to stay reclined on one side, make sure you're supporting your head with a blanket or a pillow or your arm. And then, of course, you can press yourself up to a seated posture if that's what you'd like to do. Either way, as I offer these statements of loving kindness, I'm offering them to you. So I'm going to use the word you. And I want to encourage you, as I always do, to repeat each of these statements to yourself and change the word you to I so that you're offering yourself loving kindness as well. Feel free to bring the hands together or to the body in any way that feels good or not. May you be safe and healthy. May you have a calm, clear mind. May you have an open, loving heart. May you be at peace. May all beings on earth be at peace. It's very good work. The light in me sees and feels and bows with love and gratitude to the light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Nice practice, my friends. Please don't feel obligated to speak or to be present in any way with me right now. I want to encourage you to stay soft and quiet and inwardly focused for as much time as you can and rest well. And I'll send the recording soon tomorrow. I will send it tomorrow, and take good care. And of course, as always, don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything at all I can do for you. Okay. Bye for now. You're welcome, Kesley.